Laura Roth from Randwick Botany 8, Alexia Callan-Vocus from Illawong in 9, Georgie Purcell from Blue Mountains in 10, Tyessa Buchanan Athletics Wollongong 11, Mia Tui Sutherland Districts 12, Fleur Cooper from Mossman in 13, Sarah Baker from UTS North 14, Eloise Doherty, UTS North 15, and Cheryl Chan for Sydney Uni goes in 16. So in the early running, it's actually the 14-year-old Ella Penman. So Ella, a fabulous Dubbo athlete, one of two athletes from the Dubbo region who are making marks in female New South Wales running, the other obviously being Paige Campbell, but she's doing the front running at the moment. Also up on her shoulder, Georgie Purcell, who was a DNS in that earlier 800, obviously running the 1500 here, sits on her shoulder.
Imogen Stewart and Holly Campbell up there as well. About 72 seconds through the first 400 metres. And one of the stories, the great stories in this race, is the return of Holly Campbell. Has struggled with injuries over the last probably 12, 18 months, but fantastic to see her out racing again on the track over 1500, which is her specialist distance. Had a good chat to her at the cross-country championships at Dapto, and training's all going well, which is great to see. So the usual suspects sitting at the front of this field, you can see the short figure of Imogen Stewart just sitting up on the shoulder there, and Holly just beginning to work her way in behind them as well. It's just starting to pick up the hip numbers as they come around the straight. So it's Purcell from Stewart, and then Wingcup, and then on their outside is Mia Tui of Sutherland. A little bit further back, Ada Rand sitting a little bit wide for St George, but still a pretty decent group of them. And then just shuffling out is Ella Penman, as Jimmy was saying, trying to get a bit better position as they come through the 700 metres, and they went through that lap in about 75 seconds.
So Stewart with Campbell just starting to part the sea there and forcing Stewart wide, which was a slightly interesting move, and she's now just lost one spot as Campbell assumes the lead for the race. 800 metres, they're through in 2:27. So Holly Campbell, it'll be interesting to see what she can do in her comeback race here. As Matt mentioned, a lot of injuries, unfortunately, over the last 12 or 18 months, now behind her as she looks to take out her first race of the season with Stewart just behind her. Purcell, and that's Ada Rand from St George now just starting to trail. So Campbell and Stewart just starting to pull away slightly from this chase pack of three with 500 metres to go. And Ada Rand now just moving around the shoulder of Mia Tui and Georgie Purcell. So Rand now just starting to make up the gap, and she now finds herself in that lead pack. So 450 to go. It's Campbell from Stewart from Rand, and also just make up that gap again is Tui as they come down to the bell. 3:20 on the clock.
So they get the bell, and Imogen Stewart clearly had the plan to go at the bell because she's dropped Holly Campbell like third period French. It's got to be said. The two youngsters at the front now, that's Imogen Stewart, and I think it's Ada Rand going with her, which is on a long angle here. But Campbell now dropping back into third, and then Mia Tui, Georgie Purcell sitting in behind them as well. But they head up the back straight. Imogen Stewart had a really decisive move at the 400-metre mark, and Ada Rand of St George sitting on her back. So it's the two youngsters, both 15, Imogen Stewart and Ada Rand, running up with 200 metres to run, and they'll come around and battle it out for the women's 1500.
What a fabulous race here we have between two 15-year-olds, Stewart of Illawong and Rand from St George with 150 to go. There's nothing between it. Stewart made a decisive move, and Rand went with her every single step of the way. As Rand now pulls on to the outside, there's 8 metres to go. It's Stewart versus Rand. It's Illawong versus St George. Rand just starting to get the better of Stewart as she pulls away. This must be an upset, it has to be said. Ada Rand coming down. She's going to take out the women's 1500 metres, 4:25 in the fabulous run for the red and white of St George, with Stewart in second. Holly Campbell makes a successful return in third, 4:32 for her. Tui in fourth as the rest of the field comes across the line. Some of the run crew athletes there, good finishers. Georgie Purcell in seventh. What a brilliant last lap by Ada Rand. I didn't see that coming. Over Imogen Stewart.
Fantastic. Close in about 66, I reckon we'll find will be the last lap, 65, 66. So to be closing in that is sensational. We've got an official time here, 4:26.33 for Ada Rand in pretty atrocious conditions here at the crest. Imogen Stewart just under a second behind her in 4:27.19. And as you said in the call, Jimmy, Holly Campbell makes a very successful return to racing for Sydney University in 4:33.69 in third. And so great to see Holly back on a track